Hey, it's Steve here with Yukon Unguided. The leaves are changing, there's frost on the ground, and that can only mean one thing. It's moose hunting season. Today we're going to go over the basics of how to call moose. The most important part of calling moose when it comes down to it is the different types of calls that you can use. Now again, you're going to want to use something like a moose horn, whether it's birch bark or plastic. And what this is going to do is allow you to get out a little bit further, which especially for your broadcast calls is going to be really important. So your broadcast call is a nice long drawn out noise, and that imitates a cow that's either coming into heat or is in heat and is trying to bring bulls into its area. The most important part about the broadcast call is a nice long noise that's projected over a long distance. So having your caller on hand is going to be great for that. And this is again just opening up the area so that any bulls around kind of hear this and will start coming in. So using your caller, making that nice long drawn out R noise is going to be the most important part here. You can get into the more kind of complicated bits of this, but this is essentially what a broadcast call sounds like. Now you can make it a little bit longer, a little bit shorter. You can add some kind of shakes and chuckles in there to kind of give it more agitated realism. But that's the primary call, and that's going to be the most effective thing for bringing bull moose down into your area. Once you kind of sense a bull moose or you hear him grunting on his way in, you might want to change it up with some different calls. So the next type of call that we're going to go over is a softer, more timid call. Now this is a lot like a broadcast call, but you're not going to do it for as long of a drawn out period. And this is going to be more effective when you actually hear a bull grunting in, or you hear him thrashing or raking and you know that he's in the area. And what that's going to do is basically imitate a conversation. So if you think about it like you were having a conversation with somebody, you wouldn't just yell at them if they're 2 feet away from you. You would just talk to them in sort of a normal, calm voice. So this is what you'll often find when moose are talking to each other in close range. They're not doing these long belting calls necessarily. It's a softer, sort of more quiet call, and it's a very whiny kind of noise. So it's again, just like the broadcast call, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to plug your nose, you're going to bring your collar up, and you're just going to do a gentler, kind of more whining call. So it sounds something like this. So again, you can mix this up. You can go long and then short, short and then long. But the most important part is that you're not belting this out like you're trying to bring the bull in. If he's already in the area, you want to kind of just gently ease into it like you're having a conversation with that bull. And another way to do this is to effectively turn your back on the animal and call away from it, because bull moose will often want to swing downwind of you. And what this is going to allow them to do is to kind of overshoot, or undershoot rather, where they're going to go. So the third and probably the most important moose call that you're going to want to know is the bull grunt. Now this is kind of the closer in the sequence. You're going to broadcast call to kind of bring the bulls in from far away. You're going to speak softly and kind of timid when they come closer. And if they're hung up in the brush, the bull grunt is going to be that decisive factor that pulls them out when they're ready to fight or they're ready to assert their dominance over other bulls in the area. Now the good news is the bull grunt is really easy to do. It's just like the R noise that you make in a broadcast call, but shorter and more of a drive. So what you're going to do again is plug your nose, drive that air up through your diaphragm, and exit the finish of the call with a You don't necessarily want to be super aggressive when you're calling, because sometimes, especially if it's a smaller bull, you could easily scare that moose away. So the bull grunt we kind of reserve for that last little bit of the sequence when maybe there's a bull 100 yards away and we can kind of sense that he's out there in the willows, but he's not showing himself, this is going to be the call that pulls him out and gets him to show himself. Now, the bigger bull moose, we find they make a deeper, bassier noise when they're doing this. They really drive that air up from their diaphragm. If you ever watch a bull doing this, you'll see its chest heaving. So you want to get a nice bassy kind of noise pushed through that call and finish that call with a little bit of a into the call to give it that natural effect of a bull exhaling, a big, deep push of air coming through its nose. So depending on the moose that you're hunting, whether it's a big guy or a small one, you're gonna wanna kind of vary that grunt to kind of offset what you think he's doing. If it's a big bull moose and you imitate a smaller moose, he might jump right out thinking, oh, I'm gonna assert my dominance over this young bull. But if it's a younger moose that you're targeting, you might not wanna go with a big, deep grunt because that kind of might get that bull on its heels a little bit and kind of scare him. So the last thing we're gonna talk about when it comes to calling moose in is raking or thrashing. Now this is reserved for sort of certain situations when you have a bull that's kind of hung up and won't show himself, or when you're trying to call in a really big dominant bull and you want to kind of imitate some competition. So again, you just take your collar. I like the plastic ones. They give a really nice hollow popping noise, and you're just going to gently kind of rake it through the willows. Now you can do this aggressively, you can do it nice and soft. And the good thing about raking is bull moose make this noise very naturally when they're just walking through the willows. In early September, you might see bull moose kind of thrashing gently to rake off that last bit of velvet. And along these rivers this time of year, you'll hear a nice pop kind of echo coming back as well, which is really good, and it imitates that antler coming through the brush really nicely. Thanks for joining us today, and I hope you guys learned something about how to call in bull moose. And if you have any suggestions, tips, and tricks that you want to share with us, feel free to drop those in the comments below. We always love to hear from you. And remember, if you're gearing up for a moose hunt this fall, check out cabelas.ca for all the gear that you need to have a comfortable and successful moose hunt.